I don't. You can't be selfish because I seen you at the All-Star game before, and you wanted to score and not pass the ball.
This guy said, did she really say you can't be selfish when she takes 30 shots and misses 27 of them instead of passing to her team?
When Angel Reese made an appearance at the Super Bowl, what might have been just another celebrity sideline moment unexpectedly turned into a widely discussed talking point across sports media and fan communities. Reports and clips circulated showing her jokingly calling out another player for ball-dominant play, and while the remark appeared lighthearted on the surface, the reaction online quickly turned it into something much bigger. Viewers didn't just hear a playful jab, many interpreted it as ironic commentary coming from someone who herself has faced criticism about shot selection and offensive decisions during games. That contrast is what made the moment spread so rapidly across platforms. Sports culture thrives on irony, especially when it involves outspoken personalities. Reese has built a reputation as a confident, expressive competitor who doesn't shy away from speaking her mind. That confidence is part of what made her a star in college and helped her transition into professional visibility so quickly. But confidence can be a double-edged sword. The same boldness that attracts fans can also magnify scrutiny, particularly when comments appear to contradict public perception. In Reese's case, critics pointed to her past performances and statistics to question whether she was in a position to call out anyone else's playing style. It's important to understand why moments like this resonate. Modern sports audiences don't just watch games, they follow personalities, interviews, sideline appearances, and social media clips. A single quote can become a headline within minutes, and once it's circulating, it often takes on a life of its own. That's exactly what happened here. What might have been a passing remark during a high-energy event was suddenly reframed as a statement open to analysis, parody, and debate. The humor many people saw in the situation came from contrast. On one side was Reese, known for her competitive swagger and willingness to speak boldly. On the other side was the perception, fair or not, that her own style of play sometimes invites the same critique she directed outward. That tension created a narrative hook that commentators couldn't resist discussing. Sports talk shows, podcasts, and online analysts all weighed in, dissecting tone, intent, and context. Yet moments like this also highlight how quickly narratives can form around athletes. A single clip rarely captures the full story, but once it spreads, it can shape public opinion more strongly than entire seasons of performance. Reese's comment became less about what she actually meant and more about how audiences interpreted it. In today's media environment, perception often travels faster than clarification. What made the situation especially entertaining for many observers wasn't hostility, it was theatrical irony. Sports fans love storylines that feel almost scripted, and this one seemed to deliver exactly that, a confident star making a remark that unintentionally sparked a wave of commentary about her own game. Whether people viewed it as playful banter or accidental cell-phone, the moment succeeded in one undeniable way: it captured attention across the sports world.
NFL put this out last night. LSU legends Angel Reese, Jaden Daniels. Do not clump in Jaden with that bum. Angel only a legend in her own mind. A lot of people roasted the legend part. Legend and Angel Reese should never be in the same sentence. Reese wishes she was a legend like Caitlin Clark.
While some athletes choose to stay out of the spotlight during major entertainment events, Reese has shown she's comfortable embracing it. Her appearance at the championship game wasn't unusual in itself. Major sporting spectacles often attract stars from across leagues and industries. What made her presence noteworthy was the perception that she was trying to command attention in an environment already overflowing with celebrity appearances. Cameras frequently pan to famous faces in the crowd, and viewers at home often treat those shots as part of the show. Commentary online suggested that Reese seemed eager to stand out, with critics framing her demeanor as attention-seeking rather than celebratory. Supporters countered that there's nothing wrong with enjoying the moment or engaging with fans during one of the world's most watched sporting events. The divide illustrated how differently audiences can interpret the same behavior. One person sees confidence and charisma, another sees self-promotion. In reality, both interpretations often coexist, shaped more by prior opinions than by the moment itself. The phrase "fans roasting her" began circulating in posts and reaction videos, reflecting the tone of many online responses. Memes, reaction clips, and commentary threads appeared within hours. Some were playful, others more pointed. Even among her own supporters, there were debates about whether the timing of her appearance was ideal. A few argued she should be focusing exclusively on training and preparation, while others pointed out that professional athletes routinely attend major events without it affecting their performance. What made this situation interesting was how quickly the narrative flipped. Instead of her appearance boosting her image, some viewers felt it distracted from her athletic identity. They suggested she risked being seen more as an entertainer than a competitor. That perception, whether accurate or not, can influence how audiences talk about an athlete's priorities. Still, it's worth noting that public scrutiny is almost unavoidable for players with strong personalities. Visibility invites commentary. The more recognizable an athlete becomes, the more their off-court actions get analyzed alongside their on-court statistics. Reese's experience reflects that broader pattern rather than a unique controversy. In the end, the reaction said as much about fan culture as it did about her. Sports audiences today don't just evaluate performance, they evaluate narrative. They compare appearances, quotes, fashion choices, and social media presence. Reese's Super Bowl moment became a case study in how quickly public opinion can form and how rapidly it can spread once the internet decides a clip is worth discussing.
Showed up with her business out. You can see the business is just everywhere. Chesticles bouncing all over the place. She's not any good at basketball, so she has to show some skin to stay.
Stepping back from the noise, the entire episode illustrates how modern sports narratives are built. They don't arise from a single game or comment alone, they emerge from a combination of performance, personality, timing, and audience reaction. Reese's Super Bowl appearance, Clark's training focus, statistical comparisons, and online commentary all blended into one evolving storyline that captured widespread attention. Each element reinforced the others, creating a cycle in which discussion generated more visibility, which in turn generated more discussion. For Reese, the moment underscored both the advantages and challenges of being a high-profile personality. Visibility can open doors, attract endorsements, and grow a fanbase. At the same time, it invites constant evaluation. Every public appearance becomes part of a larger narrative about priorities and identity. Navigating that balance is something many star athletes spend years learning. For Clark, the situation reinforced her image as a results-driven competitor. By keeping her focus on preparation and performance, she strengthened a reputation built on discipline. That reputation, once established, tends to amplify itself. Each strong performance confirms it, and each confirmation attracts more attention. It's a feedback loop that can elevate an athlete's standing quickly. For fans and analysts, the episode served as a reminder of how storytelling shapes sports culture. Statistics, highlights, interviews, and appearances all become pieces of a larger puzzle. Different audiences assemble those pieces in different ways, forming interpretations that sometimes clash. That diversity of perspective is part of what keeps sports conversation lively year-round, even outside of game days. Ultimately, what made this situation compelling wasn't controversy alone. It was contrast, two rising figures, two distinct public images, and one shared spotlight. Whether people sided with one player, the other, or neither, they were watching. And in professional athletics, sustained attention is one of the most powerful forces there is.
Had games yesterday. This is their season. They got games tomorrow. Angel Reese, of course, as you can expect, would be in the basketball court, deep in the lab, really putting in work.
When analysts began discussing measurable impact, television ratings and viewership numbers entered the conversation. Statistics often become the ultimate talking point in sports debates because they appear objective and definitive. Around this time, one widely cited figure involved viewership tied to a ceremony honoring Clark, which reportedly drew an audience exceeding 1 million despite not being an actual game. Supporters pointed to that number as proof of her drawing power, arguing that it demonstrated how strong her appeal was even off the court. Comparisons quickly followed. Commentators contrasted that audience size with typical broadcast figures for certain regular season matchups, suggesting that Clark's presence alone could generate more attention than full contests featuring other players. These comparisons circulated widely, though analysts cautioned that ratings can vary dramatically depending on broadcast platform, time slot, promotion, and competing programming. Raw numbers rarely tell the whole story without context. Still, perception often matters more than nuance in public debates. Fans used the figures as ammunition in online arguments, claiming they proved one player's popularity surpassed another's. Critics pushed back, saying it was unfair to compare a special event with a standard game broadcast. Both sides cited data, charts, and screenshots to support their positions, illustrating how statistics can become tools in narrative battles rather than purely analytical instruments. The larger point underlying these discussions was influence. In professional sports, influence isn't measured only by scoring averages or win-loss records. It's also measured by audience interest, merchandise sales, social media engagement, and overall visibility. Clark's supporters argued that her numbers showed she was becoming a major draw for the sport as a whole. Reese's supporters countered that she too generated enormous engagement and that visibility comes in different forms. Debates like this are common whenever multiple young stars rise simultaneously. Fans naturally compare trajectories, searching for signs of who might define the next era. While those comparisons can sometimes become heated, they also reflect excitement about the sport's future. Having several players capable of attracting attention is generally a positive sign for any league. In this case, the numbers became part of the storyline because they added a measurable dimension to what had previously been mostly opinion-based discussion. Whether interpreted one way or another, they ensured that conversations about both athletes remained active, and in the world of professional sports, staying part of the conversation is often half the battle.
Clark is down in New Orleans as well, taking care of business, bruh. She's doing her Gatorade thing. She got a Nike commercial about to drop. She's doing drills. She's not on the red carpet half naked. I'm telling you, bruh, Caitlin Clark definitely looked like she's taking care of everything she needed to get done to go back to Indiana and finish getting ready for the two.
To understand why reactions were so strong, you have to look at the broader conversation that has surrounded Reese's playing style throughout her career. Analysts and commentators have frequently broken down her performances in detail, noting both her strengths and the areas critics believe she could refine. Some point to missed layups or second-chance rebounds as examples of hustle and persistence, while others interpret those same sequences as evidence of inefficiency. That split in interpretation has fueled ongoing debate among fans who watch her games closely. Statistically, Reese has often produced impressive box score lines, particularly in rebounding categories. Supporters argue that her ability to recover missed shots and maintain possession is a valuable skill, not a flaw. They say those rebounds demonstrate anticipation, physical positioning, and relentless effort, qualities coaches prize. Critics, however, sometimes frame those same numbers differently, suggesting that rebounds off one's own misses can inflate statistics without necessarily reflecting elite shot-making efficiency. This difference in perspective is at the heart of many online arguments about her impact. Another layer to the discussion involves team performance patterns. Observers occasionally note stretches where lineups appear more fluid or offensively balanced when rotations change. In sports analysis, such observations are common and don't automatically mean a player is underperforming. Rotational chemistry depends on matchups, defensive schemes, and coaching strategy. Still, fans often interpret those shifts personally, attributing them to individual players rather than tactical adjustments. Reese's visibility also plays a role. She has a magnetic presence that naturally draws cameras, headlines, and commentary. That spotlight can create the impression that she's chasing attention, even when she's simply participating in promotional or public events common for high-profile athletes. In modern professional sports, media appearances are part of the job description. Players are expected not only to perform on the court but also to represent brands, engage audiences, and expand the league's reach. Because of that visibility, every performance, good or bad, gets amplified. A strong game becomes a trending highlight reel. A rough shooting night becomes a compilation of misses. Few athletes experience neutral coverage once they reach that level of fame. Reese's situation reflects that reality. She isn't just evaluated as a player, she's evaluated as a personality, a brand, and a public figure. All of this context explains why her Super Bowl remark triggered such lively discussion. It wasn't simply about one comment. It was about the existing narrative surrounding her style, confidence, and public persona. When those elements collide with a viral moment, the result is almost guaranteed to spark debate. And in the modern sports ecosystem, debate is fuel. It keeps conversations going, keeps clips circulating, and keeps the athlete at the center of attention whether the tone is praise or criticism.